You're right, guys. Welcome to Football and Fitness United. My name's James, and we're here to review the Fulham versus Manchester United match, which finished Fulham 1, Manchester United 2. And I'm here with Brush. How are you doing, mate, first of all?
Yeah, not too bad. I think we're both doing better than this time last week, eh?
Oh, jeez. Last Sunday was tough, wasn't it, mate? It was a tough watch.
Yeah.
But since then, we've had two good results and two little star cameos from someone that we might come on to talk about quite soon. But first things first, you doing all right, mate? Like last time you were a
Yeah.
bit under the weather, so all feeling good?
Yeah. Feeling a lot better. And yeah, I mean, I'm sure you're feeling a lot better than last week as well. Because the last time we spoke, for those that remember, will be at half time at the Villa game. And not only were you in pain because of the result, but yeah, what you had to do regarding the chili chip challenge.
Yeah, man, it was an interesting one. It was so half time wasn't that what was the score at half time? Was it 2-1? Like we just scored.
Yeah, it was 2-1. We actually went into it like we were. Yeah, the whistle came at the wrong time. Like I felt we were growing into the game.
Yeah, we were, and it was yeah. So we were growing into the game, and I was happy. And then obviously I
Yeah.
had the world's hottest chip for people, that, which kind of made me a little bit sad. And then the thing is, I was still so I was pacing around like my landing, and my
Yeah.
stomach was in pain, right? And then my phone goes off, and I'm like, "Oh, who's this?" And it's my brother. Like, for fuck's sake, Villa have just scored. I'm like, "Oh my god!" Like, as if
Yeah, that's what it was. We just got shell shocked early in the second half and never really looked like recovering.
I know, man. It was bad. Just big up to everyone in the chat, guys. The link is in the StreamYard. If you want to pop on, more the merrier. Honestly, just come join the chat. We're obviously all happy after a win. So, yes, James and Brush. Big up, James and Brush. Garth saying we needed that win so badly after losing to Villa. We definitely did. Man saying James chilling without the chilies today. Yeah, Brush is the next person doing the challenge. Like, Brush has been there for everyone's challenge now, and he's somehow escaped it himself. So when are you doing it, mate? I'll leave it.
Listen, this is all part of the tactic. This is why I haven't got a channel. You see, I don't have to do these challenges when I hit milestones.
Yeah, of course it is, mate. Of course it is. Right. So let's get into the game, mate. So 3 points. So going to the starting lineup. Any surprises for you with it when the team came out?
Not really. It was pretty much a team I was expecting. Obviously, Malacia came in at right back. That was an intriguing one. I think we'll all keep an eye on that to see how he does. And I'm sure when we get into the ratings, we'll really dig into that. I wasn't that impressed, if I'm honest with you. But it is what it is. He's coming in to do a job, isn't he? Sad times for Wan-Bissaka. The fact that he can't even make the bench, I think, is quite telling at this time. Because I was like, if anything happens to him, if to Malacia, it's probably going to be Lindelof coming right back and then Maguire coming on at centre back. So yeah, very very light there. We are. No, the rest of the team, it was as I was expecting. To be fair.
Yeah, I think it was as I was expecting, to be honest. Yeah, I mean, people were saying like Garnacho on the right, but I just didn't see him playing Garnacho on the right. Like you look at what happens when we play Rashford out there, it doesn't seem to work. And Garnacho started so well on the left that I didn't.
And you know, with Garnacho, he's such a young player that you don't want to mess him about positionally. You want to just play him and give him minutes in his preferred position. There's enough expectation and pressure on him as it is without us messing him about.
I agree, mate. Just I don't know if you've seen this, Brush, but Brush, there's no brushing aside the chilies, so they're basically you're not getting away with it. You're going to have to do it. You're going to have to at some point. So just going on there, we'll get into it now, actually, because Malacia, right? So I was watching the game, and I was like, I wasn't impressed with Malacia at all at right back.
No.
To be honest, I wasn't. Then I looked on social media and I looked at other people's ratings and stuff. And with the exception of like one channel that I saw who were relatively harsh, they gave him like a 5, which I was like, okay, that's probably around about what I'd give him out of 10.
Yeah.
And that was Nathan and Garth who's in the chat. That was their rating. And I agreed with that. I saw a lot of people giving him 6s, 7s, saying he did a good job. And that he was it. And I was like, what game were you watching? And then they're blaming Bruno for the goal and saying Malacia there in that position. And I'm like, right. So you can. I'll load up my Twitter thing actually, and I'll read the discussion to people. But basically, there was a guy coming at me saying that it's not Malacia's fault. Malacia needs to be like offensively in a Ten Hag system. That's where he needs to be. And like it's up to Bruno to control it. It's his mistake. And I'm like, listen, people have this nowadays, right? They talk about modern style football, modern goalkeepers, modern defenders, modern this, right? the title of your position determines what your main job is, right? So you can talk about De Gea's distribution and all that, but De Gea did what De Gea needed to do today. De Gea made some fantastic saves, and that's his primary function as a goalkeeper, right? You are there,
Yeah.
the ball going in the net. Malasia's job as a defender, his primary job is to defend his goal. Yes, there is more to his game, and there is more to a defender's game than defending. But their primary job is that. So you have to be pragmatic in the way you play. You always have to think, right, am I able to get forward? Yes, great. What happens if this goes wrong right now? What happens? And the problem is there's no cover behind him. So centre-backs then need to come across. Luke Shaw can't get back in time. He's partly at fault as well. He can't get back in time. Everyone else gets drawn across. Spearman at the back post, goal. It happened loads of times last season.
Yeah.
And you have to realise that, like, you can't just go gung-ho, because then you end up in a situation like Trent this season where it's like you make like 10 errors a game, but you get the odd assist or goal, and people tend to forget about it. It's like your job isn't to score or assist every game. Your job is to stop the other team scoring, mate. You're a defender. I mean, what's your thought on it?
Yeah, pretty much that. Yeah, I can understand if people want to give him a bit of leeway because he is playing out of position and that's not his preferred position. But he did keep getting caught out, and I wasn't satisfied with the job he was doing today. I thought we were very lucky. Thank God Mitrovic wasn't playing. He would have caused us all kinds of problems today.
To be honest, and I know people disagree with this, if Mitrovic would have played, I think you'd have seen Lindelof at right back and Maguire as centre back to combat him in the air. I really do.
Yeah.
Contrary to popular belief, I do believe that Erik ten Hag takes the opposition into account, and it's like
we saw that against West Ham, mate. That's why I reckon Maguire started.
Exactly. People were saying it was because Lindelof was ill, and he may have proven to be ill, but I'm pretty sure that Maguire was going to start that game anyway. Yeah. I put him in my predicted 11. I think if you're playing a 6'5" striker in Schumacher, or you're playing someone that's very aerially dominant like a Mitrovic, then you're probably going to go with Harry Maguire. And it proved in the West Ham game, like the last 20 minutes, he was excellent. I know people don't like to praise Maguire, but Harry Maguire was excellent for that last 20 minutes. He cleared absolutely everything.
Yeah, I think what it is, maybe because he's not easy on the eye, people have a certain perception with him. And obviously the certain, the TikToks and the compilations don't help his case either. But when you actually beat his 90-minute games, I know there's not been too much of that data to go on, but he's done all right when given a chance.
Mate, did you see the reaction when I was on KG's show the other day?
Yeah, but like, stuff like that.
People just saying, I'm not saying it. It's like, you want to sell this player in January, right? You've got 3 centre-backs who are injury-prone in Varane, in Bailly, and Twanzebe.
And Phil, who we never see.
Yeah, Phil Jones is like, I forget about Phil Jones because he's kind of irrelevant because he's never there. And it's like, you want to sell our most consistently available centre-back. It's like, yes, in the summer, if you can find a replacement, then yes, obviously I'm all for improving the squad. That's fine. But if you're talking about letting someone go in January when we've got a paper-thin squad and we need to play Sunday, Thursday, Sunday for the next 6 months, like, you're mad.
And this is the thing. The amount of games that we have to play is ridiculous this season. And there's already 2 fixtures, that the postponed ones, that haven't been scheduled in. And I honestly don't know where they're going to fit those games in, looking at the fixture list.
We're going to end up playing Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday, Thursday.
Yeah, because I was just looking for our April, and in April we've got 6 league games alone.
Yeah, it's mad, isn't it? It's
mad.
Absolutely mad. I don't know what's going to happen, but listen, we've got nothing now. It's the World Cup, but what a way to finish. We needed those 3 points. I've not brought up the Premier League table, but I think that leaves us in 5th. But 3 points.
We're 5th, 3 points off Spurs. I think we'll be level with Spurs. The only thing that will separate us is goal difference if we win our next game.
Off Newcastle, right?
Yeah.
So literally, we'll be 1 point. If we win our game in hand, we'll be 1 point off 3rd and level with 4th. So,
and it's Nottingham Forest after the break.
So you would fancy us? Well, you never know. Listen, that's the thing about football. You never know. Dean Henderson.
Listen, when Dan James came on, it was written in the stars today, wasn't it? And I'm looking at that, and I'm looking at that Forest game, thinking, "Oh no, Jesse."
You are right. Yeah, you can just see it now with this. And some way you can kind of see it, can't you? But talk to me. So first half, what do you think? Like, how did the game go? Were you worried for the second half? Did you think we had control of the game? Where was your head at?
The first half, I thought we did quite well. There was chances that just yeah, we really should have capitalized on chances. That's where I felt we went wrong in the first half. Because especially in this team, where we are lacking that killer instinct, we can't afford to miss these chances. Because I feel like a lot of the goals that we're creating are team goals, and there's no one person that we can just rely on. A lot of people have been banging on about Martial, and he came back, and we didn't see too much of him. You haven't got a reliable goal scorer, so in that instance, you need to capitalize on the chances created. There was a lovely ball in from Bruno Fernandes to Eriksen, and he was very unlucky. I think he really should have smashed that in. He perhaps had more time and space than he realized. He probably could have taken an extra touch there as well.
Yeah. I think if you look at the chances created, like we create more chances when Ronaldo's not in the team, right? I think that's a given. Whether it's Rashford or Martial up top, we create more chances. So we scored 2 today. You've then got to look at the McTominay header. You've got to look. Martial had a header. The Eriksen chance in the first half. Like we had our fair share of chances today. That we scored 2. We could have scored 3 or 4 definitely. But like you say, at the end of the day, like if the defense is doing a good job, then in theory we need to score less. But I think that moves our goal difference onto 0, right? I think
we're back at 0 now. Yeah, the trouble is we go on these runs where we keep it nice and tidy, but then when that one defeat comes, we ship in a fair few. So it keeps sending us back. In the second half though, I thought Eric got it a bit wrong when he brought Scotty on. It kind of upset the midfield balance. I thought Palhinha had an excellent game, and they pretty much dominated the second half.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, man. So Eric Ten Hag, I thought his selection was fine. Absolutely fine. Nothing wrong with the team selection. But then I was looking at the bench and I was like, I don't know what you do about it, but something needs to happen on that right-hand side because a goal's coming down that side. I tweeted at the time, I was like, I'm certain. The last time I saw that, right, we played Villarreal, I think it was a couple of seasons ago. Maybe it was last season. And Danjuma had Delo on toast. Absolutely on toast. And I was screaming. I was like, a goal's coming down that side. A goal's coming. And sure enough, a goal came down that side. And you could just see it with Malacia today. It's and I know he's playing out of position and he was doing his best, but it was Willian was getting behind him so often. Little give and goes, taking him on. A goal was coming down that side. And I was like, you either need to get Elanga to do more work defensively, or you need to bring someone on that's going to do more work. And maybe that was the logic with Bruno, but it didn't work anyway. We needed more security on that side because they caused havoc down that side all day.
Yeah, absolutely. And Dan James made a huge difference as well. Oh, that boy has pace to burn.
Well, there's that thing. And that's interesting, man, because Martinez has arguably been our player of the season. He's been superb, but it was kind of worrying today, not just from this game, because obviously we won this game, so that's great. But now people are going to be looking at it and being like, listen, if you've got pace, you can get a Martinez.
Yeah.
Tom James a couple of times just knocked the ball past him, gave him a head start, and just ran past him.
The only silver lining is that there's not too many people out there with Dan James' pace.
Not with his pace, no, but with pace that could trouble him.
But
People that are quick would probably think, oh yeah, but he's intelligent enough to stop it. Sometimes you look at people like Rio Ferdinand, right? Ferdinand and Vidic, not the quickest, but when they came up against pace, usually
they had a fantastic reading of the game.
Yes, and that's the thing. You don't have to be quick. If you can read the game, you step off someone sometimes. When they're going to get past you, you step across them. He didn't even get a yellow card today, so there's times where he probably should step across a man, take a yellow card. Luke Shaw's quite good at doing that, right? If he knows he's going to get beaten, he's like, right, I'll step across. I'll get my body in the way. But that worried me a little bit about Martinez, but don't get me wrong, I'm a huge Martinez fan. He's been fantastic. But Dan James looked good today.
Yeah.
Which I didn't think I'd be saying. So talk to me about our midfield. What do you think? Casemiro, Fernandes, Eriksen. What do you think about the three of them?
Eriksen had a fantastic game. The only issue I have with him is that he's not 25 and in his prime. He is human. So we do have to be careful with how much we use him. And, there was a few games where he looked quite tired. So that's my only issue with Eriksen. But I love him as a player and what he offers.
I think he looked superb early on in the season.
Yeah.
Well, obviously, first 2 games aside, but after that, he looked superb. And then for the last 3 or 4 games before Villa, he looked tired.
And that's what it is. We just need to rest and rotate and manage him properly. But today,
when the squad is paper thin, who do you rotate?
Exactly. This is the problem, isn't it? And even when Scotty came on today, it was yeah, the balance was a bit off for me.
Yeah. Well, the problem now is it's like, oh, you look at games and you think, oh, can you rest them? But it's like every game's a must-win game. Like you think, oh, you can rest people in the Carabao Cup, but then you're thinking, well, Chelsea are out, Arsenal are out, Spurs are out.
Yeah, so now
City are playing
realistically, you would think you'd want to push on.
Yeah, so now you're looking at that Burnley game and you're thinking, well, actually, we want to win that because one of City or Liverpool is going to be out.
Yeah.
And then realistically, you're only looking at one team left in the competition that should statistically beat you on paper.
Yeah.
But then it's like, right, okay, like they're out. So we've got a chance in that competition. Then you think, right, Forest are towards the bottom of the league, but they've just won their last two, I think. So then you're thinking, right, well, they're going to be up for it. And they've got a couple of RX players. And, you know, we can't really take it lightly against them. And then before you know it, you got Bournemouth and they've got a few dangerous players. And then there's just the Premier League, man, is ruthless. And the Europa League, we've got all these teams dropping down. We've now got Barcelona in that. So you can't rest any players if you want a result there. And it's like, I just don't know when we're going to get a chance to rotate.
Yeah, it's relentless, isn't it? It just means that January is imperative. But at the same time, I'm not holding much hope because Murto's already come out and dampened expectations for Jan. Yeah. Which is why when our fans call for half the squad to be sold, I'm just sat there confused.
It's madness, mate. Honestly, they think we're playing Football Manager or FIFA, or they think we have
Newcastle. Yeah, like listen, if we were a competent organization who had the facilities to do that and go scout properly and bring in replacements for all these players you want sold, then fair enough. I wouldn't have an issue with it. But that's not the case at United, especially mid-season.
But let's face it, right? If it was up to Twitter or the United fan base, they'd have De Gea gone, they'd have Wan-Bissaka gone, they'd have Maguire gone, they'd have Lindelof gone, they'd have Fred gone, they'd have McTominay gone, they'd have Van der Beek gone, they'd have Rashford gone, and they'd have Ronaldo gone. So they'd replace 10. They'd need to replace 10 players.
Yes, it's madness, isn't it?
To them, and we probably signed one. Like I said the other day on KG channel, right? I was like, literally, we signed 6 players in the summer, one of which was a keeper. So realistically, we signed 5 outfield players. And we let go, loan, or release 17. So there's a net loss of 11 or 12 players. And we didn't, we had a squad, but we didn't have like a massive squad. Our squad is now paper thin.
Yeah.
Like really thin. And people want to reduce it more. It's like, no, we need to add to it. We need
to add to our
squad before we remove any more players. Like, because not only is our squad paper thin, we've got prone players in there as well. So you
and then the other thing I don't understand as well, some of the harsh criticisms and that, and like even Maguire, for instance, the fact that he is our 4th choice centre back currently says it all. Really, there's no need for you to keep harping on saying, "Oh, you need to sell him. He's rubbish." Like, listen, there is a pecking order. All Eric is doing is using the squad to the full capabilities of the squad. Like, you know, even against West Ham, there was people saying, "Oh, he shouldn't be playing." Well, who do you want then? Because I was looking at the bench and there was no other recognisable centre back. It was either you play Maguire or it was Scotty at centre back. So what do these people want?
Well, the thing is, there's so much hatred, right? So it's like people are now trying to use the argument against me that they'd rather take Luke Shaw, Malacia, or Scott McTominay at centre back. It's like,
it's nonsense.
It's like a month ago you wanted Scott nowhere near the team, and now you want him starting centre back for Manchester United. It's
honestly, mate. Like, look at all the people that were calling for Bruno to be dropped, and then you saw how he played without Bruno, and everyone wants Bruno back.
No, it's honestly, mate, it's absolute madness. And so I've not done player ratings, but we'll go through it and we'll try and come to some agreement. So we'll go through the team. So we'll start off with De Gea. I don't know where your head's at with it, but I thought he made 2 or 3 crucial saves.
He was alert. We needed him at crucial times, and he responded.
Yeah, I think he honestly, I think he was like a 7 for me. I know people know about his distribution and stuff, but he's there to stop the ball going in the net. He made 2.
Yeah, do you know what? I think this is an age thing as well. You know, James. I think it's whenever I speak to younger people, mate, they are proper on this new wave of distribution and sweeper keeper. And I'll tell you what, they would have loved Fabian Barthez. I remember watching him back in the day. He used to give me a heart attack. Like 20 minutes into a game, we would have a corner, and he'd be stood at the halfway line.
Yeah. It's crazy.
And I'll be like, what are you doing?
And drag backs and stuff.
Yeah.
Honestly, he loses it on the byline and then they just pass it.
Do you remember the Di Canio goal in the FA Cup when he tried to convince him he was offside?
Honestly. People didn't live through the past years.
For me, like I like good goalkeeping fundamentals. Obviously all of this stuff is great in the modern game, and I can understand if you feel that De Gea isn't the modern answer going forward and that, but he's doing a job. He's doing a very good job currently this season. And
But
yeah,
if he
I
wants
love.
to, he's arguably got 7, 8, 9, 10 years left as a goalkeeper. He's 30.
Yeah, he's
And the side
32.
plays to
He's
40.
32 years old. He's 32 years old. In goalkeeping terms, it's not that old. The only issue I would have really with keeping him is the wages he's on. But
Yeah.
if he's willing to adjust that, I don't really see an issue. Like, because I think there's other key areas that need work before we get to that.
Yeah, I completely agree, mate. So rating for me, I'd give him like a 7. Where are you at out of 10?
Yeah, no, that's all right for me. If I was being critical, there was one shot where I thought he probably could have held on to it instead of punching it out. But
Okay,
that's just, but that's just me being critical because it was just, everyone was in the box as well. Like you're playing pinball after that. If you can just hold on to it. But no, aside from that, 7.
Yeah, that's fair enough, mate. We'll go on to left back, Luke Shaw.
I thought Luke was all right. He looked lively. About 6.
Yeah, 6 or 7 for me. I think Luke Shaw on the ball is fantastic. Honestly, really, really good. I think his one-touch football is excellent. His crossing is superb. He put a cross right on Martial's head, like unbelievable cross.
He got robbed of an assist, didn't he?
Absolutely robbed. I just wish we utilised him more on corners, because Eriksen seems to be hitting the first man a lot, and then 9 times out of 10 we don't even seem to put the ball in the box from a corner anymore. And I actually think Luke Shaw's delivery is really good, and if you get him on corners, like out swinger or in swinger, I think he's a great option at set pieces because his delivery is excellent.
Yeah.
But positionally excellent. His fitness is improving.
Yeah.
And he's getting up and down. I think he's very competent. And listen, obviously Malacia played at right back, and we'll get onto him shortly. But he didn't have his greatest game. But I think that left back slot is nailed down for Luke Shaw at the moment. And then obviously the great thing about competition is if his form does drop off, then we've got someone else that can come in and do a job. But at the moment, it's Shaw's shirt to lose, surely.
Yeah, and that for me is a beautiful problem to have. I'm never going to complain about competition.
No.
So,
I completely agree. So 6, 7, Luke Shaw, something like that. Let's go on to
Martin. You know what? I'll be generous today. Yeah, let's go 7.
Let's go 7. You're in it. A last minute winner boosts everyone's ratings up by like 1. If we'd have drawn 1-1, they'd all be like 1.
Yeah.
So let's move on to Martinez.
Again, same for him. Like with Shaw and him were the ones that stood out for me in the back four. I thought he done well. Obviously, we talked about how potentially he was getting caught out for pace and that, but even then, I thought he handled the situation pretty well.
Yeah, to be honest, he was good. Like the thing is with Dan James is arguably the quickest player in the Premier League, right? The guy's rapid, so he is going to beat you for pace. I just wanted to see a little bit more intelligence from Martinez in certain situations to read that. But the rest of the game, he did very well. His passing is superb, man. So his passing in tight spaces into midfield is very, very good. And that's one of the reasons we're playing different this season. He gives us a different option playing out from the back. Like these little balls into Casemiro. It's like every so often you'll see the obvious ball and you'll expect him to play it. And then he plays some diagonal, but into the center of the pitch or whatever. It's very, very clever.
And I'll tell you what, he's a bit too honest sometimes. Like if he wanted to, he could really master the dark arts. Martinez.
Well, who was it? Was it Leon Bailey that was complaining about being elbowed in the ribs and stuff? And then he tried to kick him last week, or kick out at his knee, and it's like, right, you do realize if you kick, that's the one person you don't want to kick off with in the United team. I'm pretty sure. Don't call him the butcher for no reason, but around about a 6 for Martinez for me. I think it was good. I think we're probably going to disagree actually, because I thought Lindelof was arguably a little bit better. I thought Lindelof was very good today. I do. I think people come in with a prerequisite and think, Lindelof's not as good as Martinez. And listen, he's not as good a player as Martinez, but I think he was comfortable on the ball. I think he played a few nice passes. His interceptions were good. He was good aerially today, which is
I don't know if it's because we've seen it before in different partnerships, but I just feel like Martinez just gives whoever he's playing next to a bit of confidence.
He does.
I think he gives them that reassurance. I've been really impressed with everyone that's come in and played next to Martinez. I just feel like he improves them. So
I feel like he's the glue, right? I seem to remember because people were harping on at Varane a bit last season, and Varane, in fairness, I remember when he came back, was it against Newcastle or I think it was the Newcastle game or around the Leicester game? He was not good. He was really shaky. I think it was Leicester because we conceded 4 goals or something crazy. But Varane was at fault for a few of them, and I just remember thinking when he was with Maguire, he wasn't making Maguire look better. They both looked shaky. Yet all of a sudden you put him with Martinez. He better. You put Lindelof with Martinez, he looks better. You put Maguire with him, he looks better than he does with Lindelof. So Martinez is definitely the number one centre back and does improve the players around him.
Yeah.
I agree. I just think Lindelof was good today.
Mm.
So let's move on to someone that maybe wasn't that good in the back four. Tyrone Malacia today.
Yeah, 4-5. 4-5. It's probably going to be critical. I'm probably going to go for a 4. I thought, yeah.
I can't believe I've seen people giving him like 7 today.
Yeah, I don't know.
I tuned on straight afterwards. I was like, you know what? I'll look at what different people said. I went on United View. I went on United Sunday. I kind of looked, and Mark was like, he was like, I might give him a match, not because he deserves it, but because I'll tell you what. I just replied. I was like, what?
Yeah, I'll tell you what. Yeah, between him and Elanga on that right hand side, we're very lucky today to get away with it.
Our right hand side was not
good. Yeah, and then very lucky.
He made a mistake as well. Right cursed. But I'll tell you what, it does show how important Diogo Dalot is and his form this season.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Because I'll tell you what, the amount of people that writ him off, I had question marks over him. And yeah, the way he's taken his chance, credit to him.
Yeah, Dalot's been superb, which is probably why we noticed Malacia's weaknesses a bit today. But too many times he got played in behind. Too many times he wasn't aware of where the runner was and got caught out of position. Like, you're never going to doubt Malacia's toughness and his willingness to fight and try and win the ball back.
He's got all of that in him. It's just the positional awareness today. Obviously, you could tell he didn't have his bearings in it. He's on the wrong side, and it really showed.
Yeah, it definitely did, because Willian isn't the best winger in the world, but he had him on toast basically all day. So we'll move on to midfield, CDM position, Casemiro.
Yeah, I thought Casemiro, he contributed to the build-up as well, didn't he, of the goal? I thought he had an all right game. I think he's slowly growing into that role.
Yeah, I thought he was class today. I thought he was very good. I think off the ball he's excellent. I think his sharpness of passing is very good. His interception and his tackle for the first goal is excellent. That's prime Casemiro, and then obviously the transition, getting it forward quickly, and then
and I'll tell you what, James, this is a player that I had question marks about. Not because I questioned his talent, because we know what he's about, right? He's been the best in his position for a long time. But when a player's over the age of 30 and he comes on these massive wages and that, you have to question what his motives and intentions. Yeah. And really, for me, the goal he scored against Chelsea, the way he grabbed the shirt, stuff like that is what gets to me. That's what lets me know what you're about. And then slowly we've seen the progress on the field as well with his performances.
Yeah, he's turning into one of the signings of the summer. Honestly, people had doubts. I definitely had doubts early on. He didn't look up to speed. Listen, again, exactly like you. No one's doubting his class. Right? We all know he's one of the best 3 players in his position in the world. Guys, he's won it all. He's won everything. He's been the linchpin of that midfield for years and years, and that team's been dominant across Europe. They're superb.
And this is the thing that even I have to say, because I know a lot of us, when we like to see the bigger picture, sometimes we are very critical of signings, and we look at it in a multifaceted way. I look at it going, there's no resale value, but not everyone has to have resale value. No. If you just come in and give us a couple of solid years, it's all good and well. So
I had this discussion outside the other night. So I was outside Old Trafford after the Villa game, and with the United Stand people, and we were chatting, and we were like, striker situation, who would resign and stuff. And I was like, I'd 100% have Harry Kane. And they were like, nah. They were like, Kane's useless. No, you can't. And me and Adam were like, yeah, we'd have Kane. And like, I'm not sure about Kane and all this. And I'm like, no, trust me, and people are like, no, it's too much money. And I'm like, you'd only get 2 seasons out of him. I'm like, well, Van Persie came for 1 season and won us the league. If we spent 100 million and he won us our 21st title, I'd take it.
See, this one, it's a difficult one, because again, I do not question the quality of the player at all. It's just that where we are in our build-up, you have to be selective, don't you? So if it stops us from bringing in other players, then I'd have an issue with it.
I agree. And then someone else came in, and someone else was like,
Kane's
not world class. And I was like, and then literally,
stuff like that I don't get into. I don't question that guy's ability at all. I'd quite happily take him on a free when his contract is up.
Yeah, they were like, he's not world class, and we just looked at each other. We were like,
come on. We were like, no, because listen, I'll tell you what. I think he's got another season after this, has he?
I think he's out. Is he not out of contract in the summer, or am I being
I'm
that?
not sure if it's this summer. It might be next one.
Right, okay.
But with what we're building, say we put other pieces into play, and he's the final part of the jigsaw. Yeah,
Yeah.
go for it. Bring him in. If he's got
I
12
just think
months
new
left.
bits in this team. Like, I'm not saying for the future going
Yeah,
forward,
yeah,
best option.
yeah.
I just think if you put him in that team with the amount we can create and how
Oh,
he
yeah,
plays, I think
absolutely.
he'd score 20, 25,
Absolutely. Because
30
he's the
goals.
kind of player that he's got more to his game than just goals.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, getting back to the game, I just thought I'd bring that up because it was a funny conversation we had the other day. Yeah, Casemiro. So rating for you for Casemiro?
I'll give him a 7.
Yeah, I agree. I do. I agree with that. So let's move on to Eriksen. You said you liked Eriksen today.
Yeah,
So
yeah, I liked
is it
Eriksen's
better
game.
than that? Is it
Yeah,
getting
yeah,
the
yeah.
rush?
Oh, it is. It's a 7. It's a 7-8. 7-8. Do you know? Maybe I would. I probably would have just said straight out 8 had he scored that second chance. But that's just me being me. He probably deserves an 8, to be fair.
Yeah, he was good. He was good, man. He looked
He
a
was
lot
good.
better today. He looked much
good.
sharper.
Yeah.
And in fairness, I know the chance looks easy, but is it on his wrong foot? The one at the first half? Does he take it?
Yeah. It was on his weaker foot.
I think
he took it
I
first
think
time
takes
as
on his
well.
weaker foot first time, and it's like it's an excellent pullback from Bruno. But
Brilliant.
I almost didn't expect it to go in, but he made good connection and stuff. But like, listen,
and even that, the fact that we're judging him on that miss is because we rate the quality of the player.
Yeah, we do. So much so that this is quite a clever play on words. Christian Eriksen, sensational. See what you did there. See what you did there, man.
See what you did there, man. I like that.
See what you did. Almost as good as Casemiro, which I patented. But no, so I agree. 7 or 8 for Eriksen.
Yeah.
And then Bruno.
He tried, didn't he? He tried. I can't give more than a 6 for Bruno today, I'm afraid.
Yeah, I think it's a weird one with Bruno because I think first half he was like a 7. When he was
and I'll tell you what, it's a weird one as well because had Eriksen finished that technically is an assist for Bruno, and it's very clever play, so we would probably give him a higher mark.
And assist for the first goal as well.
Yeah.
So he gets to assist it, and that's the strange thing. Like, I think centre mid, I think his pressing off the ball was excellent. I think he played really well first half, and then he got moved out to the right.
To the right hand side. Yeah, there was 1 or 2 wayward crosses as well that just went out, and
I think I'm like 7 first half, like 4 or 5 second half. So you probably
so it averages around a 6, doesn't it? So overall, yeah.
I think that's around about where I am. Let's move on to the front line then. So we'll go with Marcus Rashford.
Rashi did. He did what he does. He just frustrates us, doesn't he? About a 6, I would say, maybe 5. I don't know. He's he does what he usually does. Like he held on to the ball a bit too much. Anytime he has too much time on the ball, I just feel like his decision making just goes out the window.
Yeah, I feel like he's just an instinctive player, right? Like the less time, the better. Which is what amazes me about some of his goals this season, because he's gone through 1-on-1 and scored them, and I'm like, they're the chances I expect Rashford to miss.
Yeah, those are the ones. That's what I don't expect you to do. Today, games like today, where you were, flying down the left hand side, that's when I expect you to react. But then he slowed things down. He was looking for certain passes, and he just got out crowded.
Yeah, it's a weird. I thought Rashford started okay. I thought first half he was okay and like energetic and looked up for it, and he looked sharp and like, it didn't quite work taking a few people on, but at least he was trying, and I like that. I genuinely think he looked sharper, but like just the end product wasn't there today and stuff. And that's fine. You're going to have games like that, but I'm happy to see him on the left. I'm not one of these people.
Yeah,
Rashford. He's a different player this season. He's going to have the games where he frustrates you, and he's going to have the games where he wins you the game. That's Marcus Rashford at the moment. That's what he is.
That sums him up perfectly.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, 5-6 for Rashford today. Moving on to the other side, Anthony Elanga on the right today.
Oh, Elanga. He was invisible, wasn't he? Yeah. I mean, I think Malassia's got my lowest rating so far, and he's not too far behind Elanga.
Yeah, if you gave Malacia a 4, I think Elanga's probably a 5. I don't know if you gave Malacia a 5. Elanga's probably a 5 as well. I just don't think. I don't think he was great. He was kind of a
no. Yeah. I'd have to put him in line with Malacia, wouldn't I? So yeah, between 4 to 5 for him.
Yeah, I guess he linked up okay a little bit in the second. Like there was a back heel and stuff, but then I'm looking at it and I'm like, there's a lot of problems down that right hand side, and you've got to help out Malacia more. Like it's not just Malacia to blame.
Yeah, exactly. Because I'll tell you what, with Elanga, right, he's a functional player. He's not someone we're expecting like amazing things from. So, you know, in that respect, I just expect you to put in the hard graft and do all the simple things.
Yeah, I can accept you potentially not tracking back and helping out your defender as much if you offer a lot more going forward.
Yeah,
like,
if you're a flair player that you get people up off their seats, you have that moment of magic, that's fine. But he's not that. He's a bit more industrial. So I expect you to do the nitty-gritty side of things at least.
Yeah, I completely agree. And that what's frustrating is we're missing Anthony at the moment, and he's actually he does the defensive work really well, and he's the flair player at the opposite end. So
yeah, he does both in it.
Neither of those, it's like the drop off's quite big. Yeah, like 4 or 5, I guess, today. And then Anthony Martial, people have been clambering for him to come back. So what do you make of Martial today?
No more than a 6 for him as well, I'm afraid. He tried, he snatched at 1 or 2 chances, but didn't really see enough of him.
Yeah, that header's got to do better. He's got to hit the target. That header, like that cross is perfect.
Yeah, I don't know if it's to do with match sharpness. I did like the team the way we started today. And I do think if we have a couple of games together, you know, he can build up his confidence. I like the way that, you know, the movement basically with him is better, I think, than with Ronaldo.
The movement's a lot better. The link-up's better as well, mate. Like in the first half, the link-up was good. Again, just end product not good. Like,
that's what it is. So hopefully that will come with time. But obviously, as we know with Tony, like it's just a matter of staying fit, isn't it? So he's not been able to do that consistently and give us 3 games on the trot. So until that happens, I can't really say anything, really.
I think I might agree with that rating, to be honest. I think I'm around about a 5, in between a 5 and a 7, to be honest. Substitutions. So correct me if I miss any. Scott McTominay?
Yeah, Scotty came on today. I don't think he was at his best today. Probably about 5, 6 for him.
Yeah, I think a 5 for Scott. Didn't really do like had a couple of nice passes and stuff, but if he's brought on to shore up the game and then they got back into the game, then you've got to look.
Yeah, he tried. Bless him. Had that one header and that from out of. Oh, he was miles away.
Well, he had 2 headers. He had one that he should have scored, to be honest. He had a really good chance, and then he had one from like the 18-yard box. Like,
there was the one Ronaldo style. Yeah, there was the one Ronaldo style.
Crazy. I think like a 5 maybe for Scott today. Wasn't great. And then, is there anyone else before we got into the main man? Was there another sub?
Oh, I think there was.
Should we go on to Alejandro Garnacho then?
We shall indeed. Oh, what a substitution.
11? What? 12? I mean, you can't pick him up like everyone else. Just a standard 7.
No, I'm gonna keep calm. I'm gonna keep calm. I'll give it a solid 7. Solid 7.
Yeah, listen, man, I think it's hard because it's only a cameo. I'm in between 7 and 8 because listen, we don't win that game if he's not on the pitch.
Yeah, we don't. And you know, the thing I like about him, I think you will agree as well, is the fact that obviously it's probably to do with his youth as well. He just has no fear. He takes people on. He's direct. He's
very, very direct. That's how I describe him. And listen, the great thing is the crowd are going to get behind him because he's a youth prospect. And I know he came from Atletico Madrid, but he's been in the youth team for a couple of years now. So he's direct. He's going to take people on. He's going to lose the ball, but because he's young and he's come from our academy over the last 2 years, you're going to get behind him. And listen, you can make mistakes. That's fine. But then eventually it's going to come off. And when it does, you get a result like today. And he gets back on it. He plays the 1-2. The weight of pass from Eriksen is excellent. I didn't think he was getting there at first, but the weight of pass is excellent.
Yeah, it was brilliant. Brilliant. And what composure as well.
Oh, honestly, man, it was really good to see. He looked good. Like the assist for McTominay on Thursday was excellent. The goal tonight or this evening was excellent. And man, like people have got to be looking now. Rashford's got to be looking behind him and think, well, you know, Anthony's going to play on the right. I'm guessing Martial's going to play up front if fit. And he must be looking behind him and thinking Garnacho's going to be pushing him for a first team place. And I know Erik ten Hag likes Rashford, but is Rashford now looking and thinking, am I going to push Martial out the team? Am I going to try and push Anthony out the team?
Listen, this is a fantastic problem to have. I'm hoping it has the same effect on Marcus that's happened on Luke Shaw whenever we find another left back, because he had a similar resurgence when we first got Alex Telles.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, now, here's an interesting question. Where does this leave Jadon Sancho?
That is the $1 million question, isn't it? I don't really know, to be honest. I am not in the bandwagon of these people that wants to sell everyone. He's still only 22 years old. I think he's a very talented young man.
He's a very, very talented player. Very
Yeah,
talented player.
yeah. And also, I'm not one of these that gets blinded by the numbers. Like, because I know people saw the Bundesliga numbers, and we live in this day and age where people think that if you don't get goals and assists, you haven't had a good game. So yeah, I'm not in that camp of people. Technically very good. I think Jaden just needs to take this time to reflect, because I remember a few weeks ago, James, we touched on the fact we don't think he's going to get selected for England. It's not happened, and deservedly so. I don't think he deserves to go. So I just hope he takes this time and reflects and gets his head down and gets to work. Similar to what Marcus did over the summer, because obviously last year he had an atrocious year, and he's turned it around. And I'm hoping, given time, Eric can sort something out with him.
Yeah, I just don't. I mean, let's look at it. I mean, Ronaldo's not in the plans, right? So let's forget Ronaldo. But you've got a front three realistically, and you've now got to look at it and think, well, Rashford, Martial, Anthony, now possibly Garnacho, and are you arguing Elanga as well? Are all ahead of him?
Yeah,
maybe not Elanga. Maybe he's ahead
maybe
of
not Elanga. Yeah.
I'm not saying like obviously I prefer Sancho to Elanga.
Yeah.
I'm just saying from Ten Hag's point of view, and then it's like, well, maybe like I've heard some argument for him in the 10 because then he'd be behind Bruno, but then is he behind Eriksen, and then you've got Donny as well, and you're kind of looking at it and like I just struggle to see where he's getting back.
Exactly. Yeah, because we've been brainstorming and we were thinking, could he do a false 9 job? Who knows? We'll have to wait and see, I guess.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting one. Last one before we just sum up, mate. Man of the match?
Eriksen for me.
Eriksen, fair enough. I will go. Oh, who will I go with? I might pick one out of left field, actually.
You're going to go Linda?
No, I'm not going to go Lindelof. I don't know. No, because he got so many average ratings from people today. I really like Luke Shaw, but I will go. I'll go with Garnacho, because he won us the game. I do think.
Really impact. Yeah. No, if it was, he probably would have been second choice for me behind Eriksen. It's only because Eriksen gave us a whole game. But no, Garnacho. It doesn't get much better than that, does it? Last minute winners, especially from one of our own as well, from the academy.
Yeah, and De Gea is a good shout as well, like literally 2 or 3 good saves. I do think the thing is with saves like that is the reaction saves, but a lot of the one at his feet, it's been deflected, but it's quite close to him. The hand one that he pushes over, again, very close to him. So those saves, while they look really good, I do expect De Gea to make. I know De Gea's strengths. He did play well, but I do expect him to make those saves. So I don't think it's enough for man of the match, but he did make good saves and kept us in the game. So he was good. But yeah, Matt, anything you want to add before you leave?
No, not really. Come on, England. Our World Cup hats are on now, aren't they? So yeah.
I just can't wait for Harry Maguire to get us to the final and win the lot for everyone. And then people be like, now we can sell him for 15 million instead of 10 because they think he's worth nothing, right? But yeah, our next game, is I think it's Burnley in the cup. Like literally, I think it's 2 days after the World Cup final or something.
We've in the league, I know we've got Nottingham Forest.
We got Forest the day after Boxing Day, but Burnley in the next round of the cup, literally.
Okay,
in the league cup, 20th, 21st.
And that's literally like the day after the World Cup final, isn't it?
It's crazy.
Yeah, it's mad. Like so that's what, 21st or something.
Yeah, so you've got to look at it and think if you get to any team that gets to the quarterfinals or probably semis, they're not going to play in that game.
Right.
So thankfully, you've got like De Gea not going. You've got Garnacho not going. We've got a few players that aren't going.
But some of our key players, like Casemiro, it might be in the mix.
You've got to think Casemiro, Martinez. You've got to think Bruno, Dalot. They're probably going to get far. You've got to think Varane's going to get far. So there's quite a few that you really think that we're going to struggle a bit. But that's nearer the time. Obviously, we will get there, I'm sure. Thanks, guys. Much appreciated, Manj, and great show. So cheers, Brush, for joining in. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, as always, mate. Much appreciated. But we will leave it there. Massive 2-1 win away at Craven Cottage for Manchester United that keeps us in 5th place. 3 points off 4th place with a game in hand, 4 points off 3rd place with a game in hand. But yeah, that's it. This has been Football and Fitness United. That's been Brush. I've been James, and we'll see you next time. Cheers, guys.